There we go. How come I'm the only one wearing a mask? All right. We're in Taf Lamed Beis, Sif Beis. Bracha achas yochel livdor kama batim. We discussed last week this idea as if one mitzvah or if a few mitzvahs together making Bedikas Chametz. So here the Mechaber says that one bracha can preside over a few different houses. The Baal Bayis writes, Yamid mibnei beisoy etzloi b'shoshu mevarech v'yispasu livdor kish b'mkoymoi. Each person can have a piece of the action to be blindic. Smach brocha sheberach balabayis. I will just mention, in my house, this is what I do. I have my sons do part of the Bedika. My sons that are of dormitory age, and they have a dormitory where, I had some bocher in my house yesterday that came to sell his chametz. So I feel very bad for these bochum that have to deal with me. He says he wants to sell his chametz. So I said, why didn't you make Bedikas chametz? Why do you have to sell your chametz? What chametz do you have to sell? He says, I don't know. What are you selling? There's no mitzvah to sell chametz. So why didn't you make a Bedika in your dira? In your apartment? He said he doesn't know. I said, does the yeshiva sell the whole building? He said he thinks so. So I said, so what are you selling? What are you doing? If they're selling everything, so he has food items. So I asked him. I said, do you have food items? He says, no. There's no. I'll introduce you. I'm not a nervous guy. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
If you don't have no chametz, you don't have to sell it. You don't have to sell your wooden chairs.
What happens if he wants it lunch every bed and you forgot a sandwich somewhere?
There's no such halacha in Shulchan Aruch that you have to be worried about such things. That's Bedikas chametz.
He doesn't want to do Bedikas clearly.
So you don't want. You have a halacha in Shulchan Aruch, and you don't want to be a kind of halacha in Shulchan Aruch. That's a worse issue than we started off with.
That is what a lot of people use Bedikas selling the chametz for.
Okay, so that's an issue. Maybe we'll get there one year and discuss that. But not a good approach. Not a good approach to try to get out of being Mekayim Chiyuv. And some sefer says one should not do that. Anyways, so a person wants to divide it up. So I do with my children who don't do a Bedika in their dormitory room. I rent them anything to make money. I rent them a room in my house. I give them a shekel, and they give me back that shekel, and they make a Bedika in that room. And this accomplishes two things. Firstly, it accomplishes that they are making Bedikas chametz, because could be they have a chiyuv on their room in their dormitory. And second of all, it accomplishes that the Bedika in my house takes that much quicker. Now, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it all myself, but being that I have more than one issue over here, that's what I do. So how many brachas are made? Theoretically, each one could make their own bracha because they have their own chiyuv. Why? Because I rented them the room. Not in the case that says in Shulchan Aruch. In Shulchan Aruch's case, where you didn't rent your bnei bayis the room, it's your room, and they're doing a bedika for you. So then you can only make one bracha. Okay? So, and not only that, technically, I'm losing out on part of my mitzvah when I give it to them. If I would have them do it for Hilchos for me, so then it would be Shluchos Shalal V'Kavoisa, and I'll be Mekayim mitzvah bedika in that room, not them. But one bracha per mitzvah who makes the bracha? Again, not like I do. Person has his kids help out in the Bedika. So he said that one bracha said. That's one mitzvah, and everybody else is just helping you out. What about if the balabas is infirm and he can't make the Bedika at all, and he's having somebody else make the Bedika? Who should make the bracha? Why?
He's being his mitzvah with the chef is not physically doing
it. Every single word you said is correct. But why is that the conclusion? You're right. Maybe the one who's getting the credit should make the bracha. Could he make the bracha? Yeah. But whose kiyum is it?
Yeah. I'm not doing any physical action, so I'm kind of making a bracha.
The bracha is on the physical action, or bracha is on the kiyum of the mitzvah? I didn't hear. Which chavtza, which gavra? The guy, it's my house, and you're doing the bedika for me. Who gets the mitzvah? Oh, how do you get it? How do you cut into here? It's my house, he's doing the bedika.
No, that's the owner's house. The owner gets the mitzvah.
The owner gets the mitzvah. Why can't he make a bracha? What? So why? So who should make the bracha?
The owner can do.
Well, what does that do with chavtza gavra? What's the chavtza over here? So, but everybody's doing it on the house. Who is being Makayim the mitzvah? The balabas is going to be over. That's right. So he's the one who is having a kiyum of a mitzvah. Who is? I'm going to ask a question, okay? I don't want to, so you're a lawyer, so you deserve to have to suffer. Who has fruta de Rav Yosef? You know what fruta de Rav Yosef is? There's a concept in halacha that if somebody's in the middle of doing a mitzvah, so he's in service, and if another mitzvah comes his way, he's not obligated to do it. So in other words, if I'm in the middle of shaking gulul and esrog, and Ani comes by and wants money, so I don't have to give him. Why? Because I'm in service of one mitzvah, so therefore I become potter from another mitzvah. If I am having you check my house, who doesn't have to give the pruta to the ani? Why?
He's covered the noise. He's also the mitzvah. Yours really not a lot. Maybe mine also do it.
So he's being torn in the mitzvah, and the balabas, what is he doing? He's just collecting dividends. Huh? He's available. But he wouldn't be available, but no, he's batsman involved. That would be totally machlokes rishonim, if it's telling him that or not. So let's see what the Mishnah Berurah says. What? I'm sorry. Tough lam and gimel sif beis. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. But makama batim dalicha mi bayis lebayis lehavi has. Vay b'chayodam shekasav din blindic beisa v'chanusay v'chanusa b'chotzer acheres. If his store is a different chotzer, because it's the going is a hefsek. We discussed this idea a little bit last week. It's all one mitzvah. He has not that it was finished. He has an obligation to go and check all the places. Because your chiv is to go. You don't have to be for the minay bias. Because they pay somebody to do it. The balabas should help out in some way. It's always better to be involved with yourself. This is a fascinating thing, which I have a comment on the Poskim. The Poskim I'm speaking of about 800 years ago. The Poskim discuss something that has a tircha and is meticulous, we should rely on women because we're afraid that they may be careless. The more modern poskim of 150 years ago, 200 years ago, pointed out that nowadays we find that there was a change, a role reversal about who's the meticulous one. Okay, but be it as it may,
They're not meticulous to find chametz. They just want to house.
no, everything, no, anything that is a meticulous job to check for bugs, they are more meticulous. I've watched. I'd rather have a lady check for bugs than men. They're mitzinim. Anyways, ask your wife about it. Anyways,
I've seen my wife.
you've seen her, okay? Avraham was married for many years before he saw his wife. So anyways, you can rely on them. But because Malcolm Bechatchila Nachal Shlo Yismoch Ela Al Anoshim B'Nechayim Shegiv Chametz Stam Tel Shalom Vayla Why He Shavadiach Hilchos He Tayrach Gadol V'Yesh Lachor Shem Yisatzlu V'Yivdeku Yafel. I would like to make a statement which is an important statement to make, especially when it's not Negeya. Many times I'm asked the question, can I rely on a certain hechsher? And I get like squirmish because I know enough to know that I don't really like that hechsher. I'll just use that term. And someone will say, what's the problem? What's the answer to that question? What does that mean?
I don't know what you mean by Yisurim. I don't understand the expression.
I have to make sure that there was no goy turn on the, cook the food. I have to make sure that there was checked for bugs. So there's a Rabbi Machshir who says, or he sent them mashgiach there. So what right do I, al pi halacha, have to say it's not good enough? Huh? That's part of the question. That's not an answer.
Yeah. If you check it out and you see that this age is
If I didn't, okay. So the answer to that question is, if I know, then I know. But if I don't know, so the part of the answer to that question has to do with this idea which we just said now. If someone will say, is a lady comes and she says on something that's yesh bo choyrach, that it's kosher, what's the halacha? She's not one. What does the Mishabura say? Shouldn't rely on her. Why? It's tzarich tarich gadol, so we're afraid she may not do it well. Is there a stira between the two? It's not a pass-fail course.
It's unbelievable, but preferable.
I'm not joking. I just, when I came to Eretz Yisrael, there was a car called an autobianchi. Now, I don't know, Mustama, a car would be insulted if you called an autobianchi a car. It was something that had four wheels. You know what it was? Gil, you ever saw it? Okay, well, it was something that if you tried very hard, you could, pedal it fast enough to get going. But all cars are not created equal. I think that we all understand that. But they all go 100 kilometers an hour. But that doesn't make them the same. So I wouldn't be caught dead, so to speak, in that car. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't work. It's not operable for me. Just because it's on the road doesn't make it equal to anything else. I think we all recognize that not everything is a pass-fail. And so too, in Nemanis, there are some people which are more Neman than others. And some people take more liberties. I'm just pointing it out over here. Here you see this idea, even though the halacha is that everybody's Neman, but there's room to be Machmer and take somebody who's more Neman than others. That's basically what it says over here. B'shashu b'varach kedei sheyetzu v'chasu v'yane avi v'chasu. We want the other people to say amen on his bracha. Why do we want them to say amen on his bracha? Because we want what?
Shaykh to the mitzvah.
Their shach to the mitzvah? I don't think that's the answer. We want that the mitzvah should be done with a bracha on it. It's not the same thing. We have an obligation to make a bracha on a mitzvah. That's one thing. And also there's an obligation that the bracha should have a mitzvah, a mitzvah should have a bracha on it. And if they're not going to hear your bracha, so then theoretically, and this is the Chok Yaakov says, they should make their own bracha.
This is the true much.
Yeah, that's a good. All right, there's a Mishnah in Trumas that says that a person is not wearing clothing, he should not take Truma. Why? Because he can't make a bracha. Now there, you're not on your chiv to make a bracha. Here, the mitzvah has a bracha. How does the mitzvah have a bracha? Because the person who's being makayim the mitzvah, he made a bracha. And as we already said yesterday, it's really all one mitzvah. But the part that you're doing, your action doesn't have a bracha on it, and therefore we'd like that you should hear the bracha. Okay. Then Babai said about the cloud, then why the Havi Kishluchai Gam Le'inyan bracha. Now this is not so clear. Not everybody agrees at this point. But this is the Mishnah's opinion that he becomes a shliach to make the bracha too. If they didn't hear a bracha, then we don't send them to be checkers. Why? Because then you're going to have a piece of Bedikas done brachaless. You can ask somebody to help him out. Why? So I'm pointing this out. This Mishnah Berurah that we just read is very difficult to understand. I already explained it. Why? He says that doesn't matter because it was a bracha anyways. Well, the Chatchili should hear the bracha because it should have a bracha. Yechiel.
Right. It sounds contradictory.
So what's the answer?
The answer is that we have lechatchila and b'diavad or safek brachas l'hakel.
No, that's true, but that doesn't answer the question. Because there's two things. There's a kiyum of the mitzvah needs a bracha, and there's a oisa mitzvah needs a bracha. So even though the mitzvah will have a bracha, but the oisa mitzvah didn't. Okay.
And we don't care.
What?
And we'll live without that.
We'll live. I don't. Yeah, maybe you haven't worked without it. If no bracha was made, we'll live. Yeah. Okay. Now here comes the famous Ramah. Every year I try to impress this on my children that there's no mitzvah to put them in a place where there's no way that the father's going to find them. So what are you laughing about? You don't have any kids in your house. That's why you're laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, my wife hides it.
And where does she hide it? You don't have to answer. Where does she hide it? But what does the Ramah say? Where are you supposed to hide it?
The place where you can see it, probably.
The makom sheyimtzaim abayde.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not supposed to hide it in a place where he can't find it. Just hide in a place where he could. Kedei shaloi tiyeh b'chasel v'atola. Because if you're not going to find anything, you made a bracha and you didn't do anything. What's the bracha you made?
I'll be your chametz.
I'll be your chametz. The das kol adam im abrocha levayer im nimtza. I would like if somebody could please translate to me what the Ramah said. The Ramah has a problem. If I'm going to make a bracha and not find, so it comes out a bracha levatala. And his answer is it's not a bracha levatala because would somebody like to answer what it says over here?
It's additional bracha. If there is something to find, then
So it should be a suffix bracha, so you shouldn't make it. So that's a suffix bracha.
No, it's about the bracha. It's based on the suffix finding.
What I want to ask you something. I come home afterwards and my wife says, "Did you make the bracha levatala?" I'll say no. She'll say, "Why not? You didn't find anything."
If I find them, they're very. I know it's not to understand, but that's what it is. I also find it hard to understand.
Okay.
I think there's a stronger bracha. The bracha is al bir chametz. So bir chametz, you're burning it. Here you're just finding it. It shouldn't be al bedikas chametz because you're looking for it. But beer doesn't take place till tomorrow, and then that means you shouldn't talk or do anything until you do beer tomorrow.
Okay, we want you to be Makayim that this year.
Right.
Okay, but okay, yes. Let's. I'm willing to answer your question, but that's off the topic. Let's first discuss the question we have over here. You want to answer? What does it say over here? What does the Ramos say?
About the deal?
It says, "Why is it not a bracha levatala?"
Because the bracha is on the attempt. It's not on finding stuff.
Correct. You hear what he said? The bracha is that you're attempting to find chametz.
When you're looking,
So it's not a suffix.
right? When you're doing the stuff, it's a suffix where you find something.
That's irrelevant. No, since they say that's a good question. Me like nasa ma'ike. Why? Because of this reason. So this is a machlokes. This Torah is a machlokes.
We're looking to get in both sheets.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Mishnah Berurah says it clearly.
So one sheet that holds that you talk about it's on finding, and the other one is saying that it's on the lookout.
Okay, now, yes, over here asked, why don't the bracha is on the beer from tomorrow? So, I don't really know what to answer to that question because I'm not sure I understand the question exactly. Why is it that we don't make two brachas? One at night, al bedikas chametz, and one in the morning, al biur chametz.
Yeah.
But it's two different things. One is bedika, and one is beer. Oh, so first, the answer to that question is because it's all one mitzvah, and you want to know if you shouldn't talk until tomorrow. That could be. No. There's a part two of the mitzvah, but it's not. It doesn't go straight. I'll just tell you this year, being that it's after Purim, so I'm going to tell you something about Hilchos Purim that was Nagia this year, and it doesn't happen too often. On Purim Meshulash, so you people are not aware of this because you live here in Beit Shemesh, but on Purim Meshulash, there's a problem. The mitzvahs are scattered throughout 3 days. Megillah and Matanos of Yonim are on Friday. Al Nisim is on Shabbos, and Shalach Monis and the Suda are on Sunday. Okay. Now, the Gabbai in Shul before Mikra Megillah, he gives a clap on the bima, and he says everybody should have in mind when they say a Shechianu for the mitzvahs Hayom. Ki'ilu, that all the mitzvahs, the Suda, Matanos of Yonim, Shalach Monis, need a Shechianu. But we're cheap on brachas, so we do a combino. We make one bracha, and it goes on all the mitzvahs. what happens in a year like this year that they're on 2 days later? All right, you make the Shechianu by Mikra Megillah, and you don't eat the Suda, and you don't have Shalach Monis until Sunday. There is no das. Forget about Hesed. Okay, that's a good Purim answer. That's a good Purim answer. So here we see a concept that you make a Shechianu, and there's people talking, people doing other things in the middle, and it can still work. How does it work exactly is a machlokes achronim. But it can be that you can go to sleep at night, and your Shechianu could still work.
So why on Sukkot don't we make a bracha on Sukkah? Let's say Kol Mitzvah Sayom, including Lulav.
Okay, that's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. And the answer to that question is that the mitzvah is not part of the same mitzvah. The Shla Kodesh answers this question, your exact question, and he says that all of the mitzvahs on Purim are different spokes coming out of the mitzvah of Mikra Megillah. As the Shla Kodesh writes, it's you make a Shechianu al ha-Megillah, the mitzvah shekasuv bo. It's that Shechianu is on all of those other things. That's the Shla says. What?
People come to the Beis Mikdash to bring korban out of Shechianu.
On what?
Bring a korban chagiga or whatever.
Well, when somebody does Shiluch HaKal the first time, does he make a Shechianu? There's a question, anytime somebody does a mitzvah the first time, do you make a Shechianu? And the answer to that question is, no, we do not. That you said. He's being a shlomim. He didn't, it's not mitzvah sayad. That's what you said, Shalmicha. I came on a Tuesday in the middle of the winter for the first time, and I bring a shlomim with me. Did I make a Shechianu? Why not? First time. Okay. Get us there, Ari. Get us there. All right. Does someone want to say something? So, okay. Then I'll say something. Let's carry on.
When do you actually fulfill the mitzvah? When after you find the first piece, wouldn't you be fulfilling the mitzvah? So after that, then you should be able to talk. You found something.
We discussed this last week. You have an obligation to make sure that there's no chametz anywhere. The analogy which we used last week was when you put on your tefillin shel yad, you're still not allowed to talk before you put on your tefillin shel rosh. Even though you're makayim a mitzvah 100% by putting on your tefillin shel yad.
Yeah, but it's only Drabanan, the fact of the 10.
So
the Rabbanan. So you actually filled it once you do the first one. Okay, so you feel you have to find some more.
There's no, it's not even a mitzvah Drabanan to put out the mitzvah is to search. Search and find.
Search, not to
Well,
find.
that's a shiloh. That's a shiloh thing, what the mitzvah is. All right.
These are two separate ways to be makayim that mitzvah, but both are required.
What are the two ways?
Searching,
Yeah. So that's two steps, not two different ways. This is step one, find it. Step two, dispose of it. Correct. But that beer, if you just have bittul, then you wouldn't have to do beer b'chametz b'chlal. You can leave it as it is. But in the world of beer, in order for me to get rid of it, I have to find it. So Bedikas is the way to find the chametz that you're going to burn. Okay. All right. I lost my place over here. I just want to make something clear. there are some people that when they put away the 10 pieces, that they wrap them in tin foil. Do not wrap them in tin foil. Right, it doesn't burn. You wrap them in plastic, and that takes care of the issue. They usually add some chomer dalik to them. And another nakuda, another nakuda, which is very important. You're not makayim bir chametz until it's consumed. Machlekes in the Gemara, how far it has to be consumed. But I see people do this all the time every year. I'm just saying this in advance. People take the chametz, throw it into the fire, and say kol chamir, and they leave. Nothing happened. A lot of times the chametz didn't start burning at all. It wasn't hitzis meruba, it was nothing. It's just online to burn. But it's not burning at all. You're not makayim the mitzvah until it's burning before. So you should not be leaving there. You should not be saying kol chamira until you know.
But is it not hefker nasa? Isn't in your reshut?
I didn't hear you. What?
Isn't it not hefker? Isn't in your reshut?
You know what? That's an excellent question that you're asking me. But how is it hefker? I'm gonna share with you something from our yeshiva. Okay, parents, listen. I take a glass and I go up to the roof and I throw it down because I enjoy to see it splatter on the street. Okay, this is like my type in life. And somebody sees this glass falling, and his type in life is to make a lot of noise. And he takes his baseball bat, and as it's falling, he smashes it. And I take him to Besdin, and I want him to pay for my glass. He broke my glass. So the guy looks at me and he says, I broke your glass, quoting from the Gemara, Mana Tvira Tovar. You threw it off the roof, you were mafker. What does the Rav say?
He's right. He's right.
I feel like we're in a Jewish place. Yeah.
He's absolutely right. It's as if it was
What do you
broken
say?
already.
Chayav. I wanted it and I threw it for certain usage to happen, and you made that usage be aborted.
No, once it leaves his hands, it's as if it's broken.
You can't get me out of the glass. Maybe you could get me for taking away your pleasure.
Yes, I would like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
There's another guy, you know, he lost on the first case. So he goes up to the roof again and takes out another glass and he throws it down. And there's another guy, I'm speaking to you, yes, because I know you're going to get annoyed at me. That's part of my pleasure in life. So he throws down another glass, and there's another guy who he loves catching things. He puts on his baseball glove, catches the glass, and goes home. The guy jumps off the roof and says, give him my glass back. Said, nothing doing. Does he have to give it back?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No. Because again, once in essence, yes.
Yes. In essence, he was not mafkeret. He was planning to use it for a certain thing. Why can't he get his glass back? The guy on the roof.
Once it leaves the roof, then forget about it. That's it. It's as if it's broken. It's as if it's gone.
Okay. All right. And then many places can say that the guy has to pay for it. That's if Chaim has a whole piece on this. That's called the usage I have. That's what I want to do. And it's mine all the way to the floor.
Wow.
Does he pay for the glass or for the hana that the guy would have had from breaking it?
That's a discussion, which is that's not saying there's a discussion about that. But why am I saying all this?
All right, but the baseball
Why
glove
am I
cage.
saying all this? We're not speaking about these guys with these weird ideas and weird hanos.
I'm saying,
I want to burn my chametz.
what if I throw my chametz in the garbage? Aren't I yotze?
You are not yoytze.
I don't mean the garbage in my property. I mean the garbage in the dump.
You're not yoytze beer b'streifa. You want to know if you're yoytze beer? I think only in a certain roundabout way. Meaning to say, it's not destroyed. What's going to happen is someone's going to take it from there and destroy it. If I'm mafker my chametz, I'm not yoytze beer. I just have no
I
chametz.
thought beer is not only with streifa.
What?
I thought beer chametz is not only with streifa.
That's what we paskin. But why?
Luckily so, because this year we have to do it.
What do we have to do?
We flush it down the toilet, whatever. You know.
Yeah, I understand. So, but that's fine. Then you retire it. But if a person is going to put it to the garbage, you didn't destroy it.
Right, but once he throws it in the fire,
Nothing happened. Nothing happened yet. You could take it out just like you take it out of the garbage.
You could take it out of the toilet too if you want. You know.
You're not. Yeah, you're only ate. So when you flushed it, then you can't. Putting it in the toilet is nothing. That's like putting Cheerios in milk. Why'd everybody wake up? Anyways.
This year,
Yeah.
Erev Shabbos, what's the point in burning if you're not going to be doing saying
Excellent question. Excellent question. We do the same procedure, and we don't say kol chamir. We're just makayim that on the other chametz which you do not have. But that's a very good question. Maybe we'll discuss it a little bit on Friday night when we discuss the halachas of Pesach Shabbos. Okay. How did we get here?
Rabbi?
Anyway, you asked some question, parents. It's your fault, if I remember correctly. You asked some question. Was your question answered? Okay. All right. His question was answered, so I'm off the hook. All right.
But at the end of the day, if the guy throws it into the garbage can and says kol chamira, he's good to go. We just didn't have a mitzvah of burning.
He didn't do anything. It's not. 1 second. When you put something into the garbage, if putting it into the garbage is called hefker, which that's not so clear. No, it's still 100% viable, the chametz. Just because it's in the circular file doesn't mean anything happened.
It's not mine.
Why is it not yours?
Because I'm done with it.
If you were mafker it. If you were, what's that? Whoa, you are right now mixing up two different things. If I am mevatel the chametz belibi, it's not beer. No. You have overcome the issue of being over by your emotze, but you didn't do beer.
I didn't do the mitzvah of beer.
Correct.
Correct. Get there and say, he's not walking at least.
Yeah, so that's true. But let us give him a kind of it's a beer. All right, but that's what we're talking about. All right.
I'm saying throws it. It says kol chamir. It sounded like the guy was.
No, yeah, but just putting it there. But putting it there. If a person says kol chamira, he's not being a kind beer chametz.
No, he became about the believe, and
that's all.
He didn't do his mitzvah.
Correct.
Or getting rid of it or destroying his house.
All right, says in the Shavura. Miwat uchalik al zeh the enkach shash brochel vatola. Why the chenu amitzah live the kachometz v'lechapes acharov shemayimtza. I have an obligation to search out and find out what's going on. You have a guy who he's a plane mechanic, and after every flight they check the plane over to make sure that there's nothing that can malfunction. And he checked everything the whole day on all the planes that flew, and he didn't have to change any parts. So he comes home, and his wife says to him, "What did he do today at work?" So he says, "Nothing." Did he do nothing?
No,
No means he did nothing, or no, he did something.
he did something.
What did he do?
He checked everything, then everything he found was
Blindic.
good.
He was blindic.
It was blindic, right, exactly.
So blindic and finding are not necessarily in tandem. You don't have to say that if you didn't find, then you didn't do. You did.
Mhm.
This is just for all the economic people. This is like I say, the person who has insurance and he didn't collect, did he waste his policy? No. What do you have the policy for? Exactly, to not use it. Nobody wants to collect. I mean, unless you have one of those cars that have a bumper sticker that says "Make answer my prayer and smash my car." But generally speaking, people don't want to collect. It's just in case you have to. They don't want to lose. Okay. Okay. Batas kosav od. The bracha koi amashi ivar lemachar. The bracha goes on tomorrow, and therefore there's not a problem if you didn't find anything. Now it doesn't have to be that tomorrow you're going to burn chametz. Maybe you won't have any left. Okay. Elam meshameayo maschala yidei bedika. V'chein iskimu achroinim medina. V'ayim b'chok Yaakov shekosta b'kol makom elin kedai levatel minig Yisrael. V'ayim sham shenosem time in the minig to have the 10 pieces. V'gam arizal kosav minig zeh she'aniach asor ptitim. Ochein yesh lizor harbe shelo ya'avid echom min aptitim. And I say this all the time, you should have them written down where they were put. The Ayin Shari Tshuva, what happens in other situations. Okay. Have a good night.